You can thank or blame the massive surge in home prices and rent in the last 2.5 years on remote work. That's according to a new study from the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. But apparently that's more true in the suburbs than in the big cities. Our media partners at the San Francisco Standard have published a new article showing San Francisco downtown condos are tumbling in price as vacancies soar. The housing market here is definitely cooling off. Joining us live now to take a closer look at what's happening is San Francisco Standard reporter Kevin Truong. Kevin, good to see you.
Nice seeing you.
I know you've been tracking this. How long have San Francisco housing prices been falling?
It's basically over the last couple of quarters. You know, last year, anyone who was on the home buying market could tell you San Francisco's market was white hot. You know, you had homes basically going without people even checking it out. I talked to one gentleman earlier this week who basically said he had a FaceTime video and then put in an offer.
Right.
And things have changed quite a bit.
Yeah, that's not happening so much anymore. And how much have those prices fallen?
So for the condo market specifically, I think in August, prices are down around 13% year over year.
Wow.
In single family homes, it's a little bit less than that, but yeah.
Okay. And why is that? Why are the homes holding up better than the condos?
Well, a lot of this has to do with the pandemic. The pandemic hit the condo market nationally really hard as folks started to think twice about sort of communal living, shared amenities, and honestly wanting a little bit more space and outdoor areas to enjoy. And obviously, when you think about condos in high-rise buildings, they don't necessarily have those types of benefits.
Right. Okay, let's take a closer look at the different neighborhoods because you provided some numbers for the different neighborhoods in San Francisco. What trends do you notice as we look at these? Maybe you can point out a couple of the highlights.
Right. So we've basically seen a divergence, particularly in the condo market, between the interior neighborhoods, the ones close to downtown like Soma, South Beach, Mission Bay. Mm-hmm. And those homes are selling on average at a lower price than their listing value. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, you have places like the Richmond, Cole Valley, these places kind of close to the park. Places with a little bit more outdoor space that are selling at something like 115% of listing price on average.
Oh, okay. So the percentage in yellow, that is percentage of selling price over asking? Is that?
Yeah, basically, yeah,
okay.
On average.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the number on the left, that is the average selling price, right? And the middle, is that per square footage?
Per square foot,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, mm-hmm. Thank you for clarifying that. Look, I wonder if this reinforces the narrative that downtowns are in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, part of the problem with the recovery in some of these housing markets is the fact is people don't necessarily want to buy condos downtown because there's not as much social life. And because of the transition to remote work, living where you work is not necessarily as big of a benefit. One other factor, I was talking to a broker who was telling me a lot of the investors that bought at the peak of the market and had tenants that were, working on the peninsula, working downtown, and were paying very high prices for that, are now looking to offload their property because those tenants aren't there anymore.
So if that happens, you'll get a glut, and that should bring prices down more, right, based on supply and demand?
Yeah, so what we're seeing right now is a lot more condos on the market and a lot more time on the market. So basically these condos that used to be trading like hotcakes in the pre-pandemic times are sitting there and seeing price drops consequently.
Is this somewhat bad timing in terms of the market for San Francisco? Because I seem to remember right before the pandemic, there was this rush to build luxury, high-end, high-rise condos in the city, especially in those neighborhoods that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's really interesting because this is where a lot of the for sale housing stock has been created. So you had over the last couple of years, even during the pandemic, buildings that are delivering with not necessarily the buyers to meet them. So you have a lot of these new buildings in particular turning to benefits, amenities, cutting prices, base prices, offering things like parking for free or giving folks a credit after they close their purchases to buy furniture in order to sweeten the pot a little bit. And that's adding to the competition as well.
Okay, so I don't know in your reporting if you talked to experts who offered a glimpse into what would it take to get people to come back and want to live here. where they play here and work here and just occupy those condos again?
Well, a lot of the folks that I talk to are pretty optimistic. And I think, folks, especially in the real estate industry that have weathered the various ups and downs of the last 20 years or so, have to be, by their nature, a little optimistic about what's coming ahead. They believe that, things will eventually settle out. What that looks like, they're not sure. But I mean, part of the solution could be, bringing more vibrancy downtown, whether that's increasing retail uses, increasing residences in those offices, or arts displays and other types of social events to actually be a draw and make downtown more of a 24-hour neighborhood rather than a 9 to 5.
All right. So if you are a buyer, do you have any good advice from your experts?
Yeah. So if you're a buyer, apparently this is a good time to buy. I mean, right now it's difficult because of the high mortgage rates, but that's coming with an intervening generally lower list price. So if you are able to sign a short-term mortgage right now, you can kind of bet on potentially interest rates going down, and then put in your offer for a property at a lower price than you would have even seen 3, 4, 5 months ago.
Right. And maybe you won't even need to write that love letter, which we needed to do a few years ago, right? About why you should choose me to get to buy your home. All right, Kevin Truong, really great information. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hopefully folks will check out that article and others on the San Francisco Standard's website. They have a lot of original reporting, and it's sfstandard.com.